Hello, welcome to Inspiration Gist with Dora. Today we are considering a very important matter concerning Canadians, immigrants in Canada, and potential immigrants in Canada. So I'm going to urge you to stay with me till the end of this video. Thank you so much. Welcome back. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so right now. And I don't want to waste much of your time. Like the video, let's dive into the real gist. Now is that Canada is considering sweeping changes to its immigration and asylum laws with Bill C2. This Bill C2 is dubbed Strong Border Act. It's called Strong Border Act. What does this mean for those whose applications are already in progress? For immigrants who are already living in Canada, or for people who are planning to come to Canada, and for Canada's economy as a whole. This is all I want to break down for you in this video. So, of this video is to explain the provisions of the bill, to examine potential consequences, and also to help you understand what you should know concerning this bill. Now let's dive in. First of all, what is Bill C2? Bill C2 was introduced in June 2025 with the aim to strengthen border security and change how immigrants and refugee claims are handled in Canada. You know, there's so many things happening around refugees and all that, refugee claims in Canada. So with this bill, it's expected, the major features of this bill is to enhance control over immigration documents. Now, what it implies is that government will have the power to cancel, to suspend, or change active immigration documents or applications, and to stop accepting some applications. Government will be able to cancel some applications that are already in progress. That's deep. Again, this bill is also how to enable information sharing. So with this bill, there will be more information sharing of personal info like identity, status, immigration documents among federal and provincial agencies. So with this bill, government agencies among provincial and federal will be able to share documents, right? Will be able to share documents. And then again, this bill aims to tighten refugee claim eligibility. What does that mean? The Bill C2 will block people who have been in Canada for more than 1 year from claiming refugee status, even if conditions in their country change after arrival. So this bill will make you, once you land in Canada and you've been in Canada for more than 1 year, you will not be able to claim a refugee. Remember what is happening. I don't want to say anything, but there have been so many things happening around this refugee asylum seeking. So this bill is trying to sanitize this whole process. Again, there will be greater powers for governor in council to make orders in the public interest. This is, unquote, public interest, which is defined broadly, very broad, like fairness, security, health, misuse, and emergencies. These things are subject to interpretation. That is why this bill is very controversial. There are so many civil society rights, civil society groups that are arguing some parts may violate international agreements and human rights obligations. I'm not here to break the bill down because I don't even have the legal capacity, the understanding. Because like it's just said here, this bill is vague, it's large. All right, so I just want you to understand, and we will all be in the lookout for further explanation. The bill has not been passed, but when it eventually gets passed, this is what is going to, be obtainable. Now, what about the economic impact of this bill? Let's look at the labor market and workforce supply. Immigration Immigration is a key source of labor, especially in sectors with shortages like healthcare, agriculture, food, services, and care work and caregiving, So tightening eligibility or reducing number of new arrivals is one of the things that will happen to this sector. And then this bill can also reduce pool of workers around. Then the economic growth, fewer new immigrants or longer delays. There will be more uncertainty as to Canada and what will happen to someone. So this will actually drive people away from looking at Canada as their immigration destination. Yes, because when it says that even applications can be cancelled, no one is sure of anything anymore. All right. Then the cost of processing, enforcement, and infrastructure, the government may incur high cost of implementing the new system. That is one of the arguments for those who are agitating against this bill. And then the risk of underutilization of human capital, because when people's documents are being processed with long delays or cancellations, they are saying that it can affect the maximization of human capital who are available to contribute to Canada's economy. They will have impact on public service and housing. On the other side, proponents may argue that reducing influx or controlling immigration helps release pressure on housing. This is the pro. And when this bill comes, comes into law, Canada will have less population, Canada will be less attractive, and so they will have the pressure on housing and health services reduced. Then again, con is uncertainty. On the cons, businesses depend on immigration labor. The businesses that depend on immigration labor may experience delay and the investment if the immigration rules are very uncertain. So immigration uncertainty can ripple through labor planning and workforce acquisition. These are the negative impacts of this bill on the economy, right? On the economy. And let's look at the impact of this bill on immigrants who are already here in Canada or who are processing their applications right now. Now, people with temporary or permanent status, Bill C2 does not immediately take away status for permanent or temporary residents if an order is made. But there is a there's a greater risk of changes to documents like permits being suspended, being varied or cancelled under certain public interest conditions. You see why this bill is very vague. It's going to discourage a lot of people, even permanent residents, temporary residents. You say once you are in status, there's no problem, but something may happen, and then this bill can just say, we are cancelling your status. This is serious, right? Then for those whose applications are in progress, already in process, what happens? Their applications could be paused, cancelled, or have more conditions attached, because the government is now empowered not only to refuse new applications, but to also change or suspend existing ones. You see? Even suspend the application, say God. Then refugee claimants, probably among the most affected. This refugee claimants is probably among the most affected. The bill seeks to have it that the 1 year deadline means if someone is in Canada for more than 1 year without claiming refugee status, they may be ineligible if there is a new danger in their country after they arrived. The bill also seeks to remove some US border exception windows. It means fewer pathways, through the US. And then there's privacy and information risk that is coming with this bill, because there is now expanded information sharing, which means that personal data like immigration status, identity, and documents is now widely shared among government agencies, possibly leading to unintended exposure or misuse. You understand, when these documents are being shared from one agency to the other through means, it passes through certain channels, and which can expose them to misuse. Then you have emotional and social, emotional, legal, and even social uncertainty. Because right now, there will be delay, there will be possible cancellations, there will be fear of losing eligibility or permits, which can create stress, emotional stress, mental stress. Though also legal recourse may be limited or even more complex. So with this, people will just try to think. Think very well before you choose Canada as your immigration destination. If you're anywhere and you want to migrate, like I always say, it is not a crime to migrate. This era we are living in now is the era, the post-COVID era is the era of migration. People are migrating. But Canada has been very attractive since post-COVID due to certain factors, which I'm not here to explain. But recently, you need to think again before choosing Canada as your immigration destination, because you don't need to spend your money and then you come and you're living in uncertainty. Now let's look at the pros and cons and the risk versus benefits of this bill again before I let you go. The benefits, as argued by supporters, they argue that the bill will bring stronger border and security protection, better ability to respond to emergencies like health, pandemic, and all that, most efficient processing, and less fraudulent or frivolous claims. So you know what's happening, especially with the refugee asylum claiming in Canada. So they are saying that potentially fewer people will come, will be attracted, and there will be less delay. Then there is greater clarity and transparency according to them. I don't know if the bill is properly implemented. That is what the people who are advocating for this bill are saying. But now the risk, according to those who are saying no, there will be risk of limiting protection for some who need it, like these refugees. They are running to Canada. Canada is one of the countries that will sign this Refugee Protection Act or whatever, you know. So now they are saying, oh, Canada will see a situation that is will endanger people's life in their country and still refuse to give them asylum. This is, according to them, might contravene human rights norms. Then there's this uncertainty for applicants. I've already said this. We can't overemphasize this uncertainty because it causes mental stress. Then there's possibility of chilling effect. People may just decide, people who miss their deadline or something can just be affected. There's privacy concern. I already say the economic consequences is that there will be reduced immigration. Canada is a country that is always, we know, relies on immigrants, the immigration population, to service their economy. Now, a lot of students are already, this year it's recorded that you have less than like 40% show up of students, you know, over and across Canada. Those who even got admission were denied visa, and people did not even apply for Canada. People are looking elsewhere. Now with this bill again, what is it going to be? More people will look away, and that will bring labor shortage and the slower growth, and also skill gap. What Canada has been trying to fill up, they will also fall into lack again. Okay, so if you have been watching me from the beginning till now, I want to say thank you. You have done well, because now I want to tell you what you can do. But before I go, now I want to ask you, have you subscribed to the channel? Please, if you haven't done so, do so just right now. Thank you so much, and like this video. So now, if you're an immigrant or you're a refugee applicant, please, number one, check your deadline carefully. Check when you're going to file. Plan yourself. Don't come to Canada and stay, and after 1 year you want to go for to claim asylum. And keep your documentation, reasons, whatever. Monitor legal advice and advocacy group. Please watch out for not just laws, but much on this bill, because like I said, this bill is fake. Like, it's large. It's very large. Stay informed. Be on the lookout. If you're a business and organization, please assess how this bill might affect your labor supply and start now to do something about it, even before this bill even comes to be. All right? So, my dear, to end, I want to state that immigration has been and continues to be one of Canada's greatest strengths. So this bill coming into be is one of those measures to to reform or to manage immigration. For now, it's not going to be forever, except Canadians start tomorrow to give one Canadian give birth to 5 children, 6 children. Then you talk about in the next 30 years, this whole thing, this need for immigration or immigrants will cease. But for now, all I will advise you to do is to just watch out and see how this bill is going to affect you in the time being. If you actually love Canada so much and you insist that Canada is a place you want to settle, I will advise you be on the lookout and see how this bill is going to end, because right now this bill is still going through going through the process. Okay, they are still considering it. It's still under consideration. It went into the second reading stage now. That is where this bill is currently going through second reading. So on the on September 17th, which is today, there was suggest debates and oral questions and routine proceedings. So the bill will continue to proceed to other stages like the committee stage review and the report stage review and further house debates, after which it will go through the third reading and final house vote. So it is at this point that if the bill is approved, that we can now be reconciled, the amendments and everything. The bill may now be passed by royal assent to become law. So this is just bringing an information your way. You can do whatever you want. You can join the advocacy group. You can pray. You can be on the lookout for information and take your decisions that will affect you according to the right appropriate information. So I want to leave you here now. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again in my next video.